Hello, this is Bwana from Bwana.tv. I want to talk a little bit about E3. I haven't done a video on it yet. Just some quick thoughts. I'm not going to summarize everything that happened because I'm quite sure you guys have seen a ton of coverage and a ton of videos on that. But a lot of people ask me, Bwana, who you think won E3? Who you think won? I'm like, I didn't know you could win E3. In terms of just, offerings. And when they ask that, they're referring to Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft. So, I gotta say, just right off the bat, I was the least impressed by Microsoft. They were big on their Connect product, which is Project Natal, renamed. And they were showing a lot of things around that. Now, on previous E3s, Microsoft was all about exclusives. We have exclusive this, exclusive that, only on Xbox. And they showed a ton of gameplay, a ton of titles that were only going to be on Xbox. Everybody remembers Alan Wake last year and a bunch of other titles. This year they showed Gears of War 3, Halo Reach, a Metal Gear Solid title, and those were the three that stood out to me. I'm pretty sure there's more. I think it was 4 titles total. It wasn't a whole lot. And I was like, okay, well, that's it. Then they went on to show a whole bunch of Connect titles, and that I was not impressed by. I am not a motion capture. I'm not gonna get Connect. So I was kind of hold on about Microsoft. Nintendo came out, and they started out a little boring. I'm just joking. No, they came out with Zelda, and everybody went nuts. Unfortunately, their demo didn't go as planned. They complained about a lot of reception issues. There's a lot of that going around with Google and with Apple. It's like, man, turn off your Wi-Fi. But apparently all the reviewers who got to play it on the floor said that the game didn't have that big of a problem. I'll have to take their word for it. So they came out with Zelda, and they have a whole new mechanic now where you grasp the sword and shield, and you're going to be in total control of the sword and shield as Link, which looked good if you're a Zelda fan. So a lot of people were excited about that. If you're not a Zelda fan, you probably were like, But then they came out and talked about a whole bunch of cool games, like cool new platformers. That was like the big deal with Nintendo this year. They were like, platformers are back. They had Epic Mickey. The key word was epic. Epic Mickey, and they had Kirby's Epic Adventure, I think that's the name of it. And Donkey Kong Country's coming back. So those 3 platformers were like the highlight of the Nintendo Wii's offerings. So it was a lot of cool stuff. But by far, the biggest thing that Nintendo offered, in my opinion, was the 3DS. The Nintendo 3DS was announced. Unfortunately, we couldn't see a whole lot of gameplay. And we saw gameplay, but we couldn't see the 3D effect. And you really can't show that on a screen, on a giant teleprompter or whatever, giant plasma screen. You really have to hold it in your hand. So the people who were there, they got a chance to do that. They were able to actually to play with the device, and it got positive reviews. So if Nintendo is going to deliver what they promise, the 3DS is going to be, I think, even more success than what it is, which is kind of hard to imagine. Now, one thing that really surprised me with the 3DS was all the third-party titles which are going to be available. I mean, they announced all kinds of stuff that I was like, wow, why can't we have this on the Wii? it was kind of perplexing. I was like, the 3DS is getting all this third-party support, but the Wii is getting like none of this stuff. So it's going to be a lot of third-party titles, and I think that was the highlight of Nintendo's. Now, Sony came out. Everybody knew Sony was going to come out and talk about the PlayStation Move, which they did. And we got to see some titles. I think Sorcery was one where you're it's like a Harry Potter type thing. It really showed some of the benefits of the device. I'm still not going to buy it, guys. I'm just not into Connect and Move right now. So it looks good, it looks cool, but I don't know. The one thing I do like about how Sony's doing things is that, the whole thing with the PlayStation Move, you don't have to really get a game that's just Move. They're gonna really take some of the titles that are already existing out there, and they're going to add Move support as an optional thing, like SOCOM and Little Big Planet and all these other titles. So I like that they're doing that, but I'm still not going to get it. But then they came out and gave us a barrage of games, which is something we didn't see from Microsoft. It was like Sony and Microsoft kind of switched places from last year. And we saw a barrage of games, and then we kept hearing about exclusive this and exclusive that. You know, they weren't exclusive titles per se, but it was exclusive bundles, like exclusive editions with a free game and exclusive content with Assassin's Creed and exclusive this. And I was like, what are we seeing here? It's like Microsoft at first took all the exclusives from Sony, and now Sony's like taking them back. But just removing the blinders off a little bit, just removing everything away from it. It was a tale of two companies. It was a tale of Activision, and it was a tale of EA. And Microsoft did have an exclusive deal with Call of Duty Call of Duty Black Ops. I was gonna say World at War. They do have an exclusivity deal through 2012, so they're gonna get all the map packs, all the DLC first, like they do with Modern Warfare 2. I care less about that. And so it's like, I don't know if that was the cause of EA going, well, if you're going to sign exclusivity through 2012 with our main competitor, we're going to go to Sony. That's my speculation. I really think Activision and EA are the cause of this. So as you saw, save Assassin's Creed, pretty much all those exclusive titles, I don't know if there was one I'm missing. There may be one I'm missing, but almost all the exclusive titles were from EA. You know, Medal of Honor is going to have some exclusive content. I think, what was it? Dead Space. I knew it was Dead something. Dead Space is going to have exclusive stuff. And it was just, I was like, wow. EA versus Activision. Sony versus Microsoft. It's all becoming clear now. So, if you ask me who won E3, I don't have an answer, but I really think Nintendo came out on top by a slim margin over Sony. And I'll say, this is why. The 3DS. Solely because the 3DS has probably the most attractive lineup of games coming. I think that was a huge surprise and a big thing for me. Now, Sony did come out with the Portal announcement. Steam on PS3 is going to be awesome. That was a huge surprise for me as well. But, if you compare the two, Sony and Nintendo, I think Nintendo takes it by a slight margin. Now, I'm a little bit tainted when it comes to Nintendo, and I had to put that aside. Nintendo has a habit of introducing new technology and rehashing the same games around it. We see a lot of similar stuff. We don't see any new games per se. We see Zelda, we see Mario, we see Wii Party, we see Kirby, we see all these familiar characters. We see Kid Icarus. I don't know. I always say Icarus. You guys will pronounce, you'll correct me. We see all these familiar characters. We don't see any new intellectual property. We see new technology in the form of the 3DS, but we see the same games. So I'm a little bit tainted. I get a little bit frustrated when I watch Nintendo at E3, and they're talking about the same games over and over again. I'm like, come on, guys, give me something new. So Sony, when they showed Sorcery, they've touted it as a new game. Here's new IP. I got excited, but then when I saw it, I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm not going to rush out and buy it, but at least it's a new game. And we've seen a lot of sequels and a lot of the same stuff over and over again, which overall kind of brought E3 down for me this year. There's not a whole lot of new games. I mean, the Kinect came out with all these little mini games, very similar to the Wii. The Move has a bunch of mini games, very similar to the Wii. But man, I was like, where's the new stuff? Which is why I think the 3DS took the show, because it's new tech. It's motion capture was Kinect and Move. They're doing it a different way, but the 3DS is 3D gaming, and Sony's doing 3D gaming as well. But they're doing 3D gaming in a way that nobody else has done before. And to me, that was the most refreshing part of E3. It was new. It was, something no one has done before, bar none. No one has really done that before. And it was refreshing. But at the same time, it's like, you're like, that's it? If the 3DS is the best E3 has to offer, that's kind of sad. I was hoping to see a lot more. So overall, like I said, I think Nintendo takes E3 by a slight margin over Sony. I was impressed with Sony's press conference. I was. It was very good, very typical Sony, and I really, I was happy with what I saw. Microsoft, I was a little surprised that they didn't come with it. Usually they come with it. Usually they show a lot of games, but this year was all about Connect. So I hope that answers your questions, guys, about E3. And I'm recording this on my iPhone now using the VGA camera. And hopefully the quality will be okay. All right, this is Bwana from Bwana.tv. My thoughts on E3 2010. Take care.